Welcome to Braunhaven. We're going to be picking up where we left off last week. These guys have entered the port city of Viacaslau. This is a major city. In fact, it is considered to be a viable, I guess, contender and in competition with the capital city of Olafsveller. And there seems to be a bit of um, King Kisping of Stagina is, I guess there might be a little bit of jealousy involved there. But there is, in his mind that Viacaslau has grown too large and too powerful, and it threatens his crown. While the Earl of Viacaslau, or Jarl of Viacaslau, has kind of smoothed things over diplomatically, and promised that that isn't the case, that he has no desire to take over. And so things are kind of things are cool now, but there is always that little voice in the back of King Kisping's head that is saying, hey, you better keep an eye on Viacaslau, because um, wouldn't take too much for them to just take over everything, right? So they don't know much about this city. They do know that probably a third of the city is actually built on the piers out into the ocean, and they have it is located on the Great Inland Sea, and so trade ships come up through the fjord from the Dragon Sea into the Great Inland Sea, and there is a large amount of trade that goes on here. Ships from all over the world. There are ships from Orentis that dock here, ships from Erebachia. If the Glaucian Empire was doing any trade, if they hadn't closed their borders and their ports, those ships would be here. And of course, there are Stygian longships that dock here and make their way doing trade back and forth. So this is a really busy city. Almost anything is said that can be bought is available on in the markets on the piers. Before we get started, we would like to bring attention to the fact that we do have a merchant store on Zazzle. We have hoodies. They're black hoodies with black and white charcoal sketch of each of the characters from today's game on them. We have T-shirts and buttons and whiskey rocks glasses and beer steins, and there's poster maps that you can hang on your wall if you really like Braunhaven that show all of this stuff. And 100% of the proceeds from that store helps us. It goes back into the channel. It helps us cover the minor subscriptions that creep up at the end of every month, like Roll20 Pro. Here's 10.99 here, and then there's 5.99 there, and oh, we got to save money for the yearly subscription for Filmora, and all that stuff, which is really minor individually, seems to group up and become something that really needs to be considered at the end of each month. So if you'd like to help us make ends meet and get something cool on top of it, go get yourself a hoodie, and we really thank you and appreciate you for everything that you do for us. If you're following along on the game, or you're just getting into it and you're looking for a new campaign world that is designed from ground up to be it's a sandbox with a overarching major plot line. If that sounds good to you, all of the Braunhaven books in PDF form are on sale right now through Monday, March 24th of 25, at 50% off for all the PDFs. So at some point on Monday, those are going to go back to regular price. So go get them while you can. Like I said, there's some dirt cheap deals, including the campaign section that we're in now, which is Stagina, the Land of Ice and Plunder. It is the newest book that is out. So, go grab that for 50% off. And there is something to bring up. Really debating whether or not I'm going to be doing print on demand moving forward. I'm going to try to, but I was notified, and I've known about this for a while, and I've been kind of waiting to see what's going to shake out of the tree. But prices for print on demand is going to go up significantly. What I was told is it looks like they're going to go up. They're going to, because I don't know if why the prices are going up. They're claiming that it's because supply and demand and getting the goods or what have you has increased. But they're talking about the my end. The cost on these books are going to go up $9.99 at least. I mean, that's a $10 jump. So I mean, I've been cutting. I don't get hardly any profit on this. If I see $5 on a book, I'm ecstatic. So I'm already cutting them as low as they can go. So if you've got a book like, say, the Braunhaven campaign setting, I don't remember what the print on demand was, but I think it comes out to like $27. Now you're talking about that book costing $37, and um, there's nothing I can do about it. I can't cut any more off of, I can't cut any more fat off of it. It's as lean as it's going to get. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. I think the price increase, they're telling me the price increase is probably going to go into effect in April. I want to say April 1st, but I'm not positive on that date. So something to keep in mind. Um, I'm going to try, because if you're like me, there are some people that do like to have the print book, and I have gotten to the point where I like having both PDF and print book, especially the with the digital assets and whatnot. But just keep in mind, it's not me that's doing that. It is what I feel is a bogus claim that they are having problems, because. And the reason why I feel it's a bogus claim is because Drive Through RPG does all of their printing here in the United States. I want to say it's like Kentucky or somewhere. It's over on the eastern south side. And if that's the case, I mean, where are you getting your paper? Because there are plenty of paper mills. There's a paper mill right here in Washington. You don't have to import your paper from China. So I don't necessarily believe them when they say, "Oh, well, printing costs are going up because reasons." I call bullshit. You can get all of that crap locally um, within the U.S. So I don't know what to say about that. Just a warning that that's coming. All right, so you guys enter. So this wall around the city of Viacaslau is a 20-foot tall wooden palisade. So there are logs that have been sharpened at the point, and there are these huge gate entrances. And on this side, the eastern side along the shoreline is open, and obviously because I don't think anybody other than Frostchance is going to want to swim in order to invade. so, um, so yeah, you've got these huge palisade walls, and this is just a very vibrant city. They're icy paths. You have traveled far enough north that uh, even in the summertime, there is going to be a bit of frost and snow on the ground. Um, that is just the nature of the climate here. But you are entering in early spring, and so, well, late winter, early spring, that kind of area. So keep in mind that Stagina has a very short growing season, and so it pretty much winter skips over, for the most part, skips over what they would consider spring, and it just thaws, and then it's summer, and summer is like maybe a month or two, and then it kind of skips over fall and goes straight. You get like maybe a week or two of fall, and then it goes right back into winter, frigid winter. And so any crops that are grown are those that have a very very short, fast growth cycle. And so, I mean, this what you see on this map is kind of the norm year round, and it only gets worse the further north you go, of course. But you have entered into into the city, and of course there are guards at the gates. That I mean, you can ask for directions. You don't know pretty much anything about the city. What would you? Where would you like to go? What would you like to do? Who do you want to talk to?
Aren't we gonna start out by going and getting our asses washed and our animals cared for and
You can certainly do that.
maybe the animals, a place where we can get fine dining and relaxation
Yes.
and our animals can be treated to some well earned pampering and rest.
Yes. So the guards, town guards, tell you in a heavy Stygian accent that the finest inn is the Bald Mastodon Inn, and they have they have stables that can be used, or
Let's do it.
that they rent out for
Yeah.
stable and fodder for animals.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sounds like yeah.
We're
Okay.
kind of, my characters are injured a little bit. I don't know about anybody else's, but
Mine
some
too.
rest would do us good.
Yeah, probably
Yeah.
good time to. Okay, so probably help if I used my own table of contents. Okay, that's what I was like. Why don't I have a map of this? I do have. A Give me just a second here. Oh yeah. Okay. I make so many maps that I forget which ones I made. I mean, this is one of the reasons for writing this shit down. There's so much that there's just so much here.
I don't know how you keep track of any of it, to be honest. So, well done.
Thank you. Yeah, there's some days where I'm like, I don't have any idea. That was the other thing I wanted to tell that guy. Like, what do you mean none of these places sound real? I've been living there for like 3 years. Right. Do a copy and paste of you guys because that'll save me some trouble. I didn't do any lighting on this, obviously. Yeah, you guys are tokens here. Gorman at the kitty table. Yeah, the cat's probably over by the fire. All right, there we go. This is the Bald Mastodon. Um, when you so the doors that lead in to the Bald Mastodon, you notice that this is actually a fairly nice inn. Deeply stained hardwood on the walls, floor, and there are beams on the 10-foot ceiling. There are chandeliers that are hanging over the bar, and one hanging in. You can see lights pouring out from the kitchen that have candles lit in them. You know they've shown that they've had many candles in them over the years because there's wax all over them. And there are a couple of fireplaces in the tap room that offer a very good a good amount of heat, keeping the place nice and warm. And over here behind the bar, you see a normal human woman, and her name is Yarngerd Finnivdottir, and she she owns and runs the place. Her, if I remember, so her daughter is the cook. Her daughter is Helgerd, and her sons run the stable, and so she welcomes you. The other thing that you notice is that the construction of the Bald Mastodon isn't necessarily indicative of all of the normal types of buildings that you have found in Stagina. Most buildings of Staginian origin, the oldest buildings, are built in kind of a longhouse style with the high peaked A-frame roofs and longer than they are tall kind of situation. Or when you step in, they're partially sunk into the ground, a sub basement kind of style, which is better for retaining heat. But over the many years, with the melding of architectural styles and people that have traveled in, some of building styles from other places have mixed with the Stygian style, and that is the Bald Mastodon is a perfect example of that. And so Yarngerd, she welcomes you to the Bald Mastodon and wants to know what you need. It will cost you. Let me pull up my prices here. So for stabling and fodder, it is 4 silver pieces per night per animal.
Do you want to just buy up a week, Brian, with your list of money that we have in the party pool?
Absolutely.
All right.
Let's just drop the coin. We got plenty of it. Let's do it.
So you're looking at 28 silver pieces, or let's see. So you're looking at 2 gold pieces and 8 silver pieces would buy up stabling and fodder for a week per animal.
How many animals do we have?
That's a very good
I
question.
mean,
Who all?
I know
has
we've got.
You got 2
Don't we
horses.
have like? Yeah, I think it's 2 horses and the cat. I think it's all Brian's shit anyway, but it comes out of the party's fun because they're part of the party, even if they don't level or.
So I don't
really
know if you want
experience.
to stable Mira or just the 2 horses. That is up to you.
I have 1 war horse. Is there another war horse that I don't know about?
Yeah, because you were gifted a war horse as a reward for helping the people of Arlos with
That's
their hill giant problem.
right.
And I thought you'd
And we had
given the other war horse to somebody else.
We left him somewhere. is what happened. I swear. We just like,
Did we send them back to the castle to hang out, or?
You,
I hope so.
yeah, you might have. I thought he gave it to like Peppermint or something.
Well, I haven't been riding it around, so I don't know.
Yeah, maybe you only have the one more horse, which is fine.
Oh, I did. I intended to give it to the cleric so that she would have some movement in combat, because I know that with all the armor, her movement's limited.
Right.
He got the broom.
Yeah,
Yeah,
she
we
got
got
a
the
broom.
broom now.
So yeah, you got
Yeah, so
two
that's not the
brooms
point
of
anymore.
flying.
So the horse can go back to the castle,
Okay.
keep or whatever.
So and I doubt that Jackson wants Mira to be stabled. I don't. I mean, maybe you do. You want to keep her out of danger. That's fine. So it would be
Mira rolls with me wherever I go.
okay. That's what I kind of figured. So for the horse, you're talking about 2 gold, 8 silver pieces, and that will cover you for the week.
Nice.
Here's 3 gold. Please take care of them.
Oh, and so I've already forgot her name. Jörngerd is thankful. She says thank you for the 2 silver piece tip, and then she tells you that rooms for the night, and I may have actually done this. Probably help if I had the master map.
So if we spend all our money here at this place and then we steal it back, is that worthy of experience? I'm joking. That's
I don't think that's how that works. Isn't that's kind of like the that's kind of like working the loophole in the 3 wishes from the genie rule. Like, my first wish, I'm
yeah.
gonna wish for 1,000,000 more wishes. So upstairs, she has shared rooms. Each shared room will sleep 2 people in single beds, and those are 5 silver pieces per room. There are also come on, Jesus. There are 2 private rooms, and uh, those go for 1 gold piece per night. It will technically sleep 1 person in luxury, or 2 people comfortably. And those are 1 gold piece per night, and you can get a bath drawn in the room for an additional 5 silver pieces. And then there is a private suite that has a attached room, for attendants or bodyguards, or I guess children if you're traveling with them. And then the main room, which that suite goes for 5 gold pieces per night, and also the offer of having a bath drawn will cost an additional 5 silver pieces. So I don't know how you guys want to divvy this up. There, or let's see, 2, 4.
I don't need anything too fancy.
Well, if we get this suite, right, we can put 2 people here in the bed, and then like over here could go like a ranger and a cat, right?
Yeah.
And then so that leaves us with 3 people, and so I mean we could.
I mean, just between the
we could
private rooms, let's see, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
like
2, 4,
if
6,
we could
8.
put
Yeah,
like
you could take up all of the private suite and the private rooms and be golden.
All right.
yeah.
So
I'm okay with that.
that would be.
Are you telling me that we are leaving our queen to rot? Our queen must have a nice suite.
Right, so yeah, okay, we can put like Alora here, right? And then Dentry and Peppermint can be here, and then and then in here,
I mean,
we could
isn't
put.
Malachi gonna bunk with Alora? I mean, that's usually the way it works.
He could, yeah. So it'd be
So
like Malachi Alora here,
So I'm
and then
looking for a total.
Peppermint and Dentry here. Yeah.
So it's
And
seven
then,
7 gold pieces per night, just for
right,
the
so that's,
rooms, and it's 15 silver pieces or 1 gold piece, 5 silver. So you're looking at 8 gold pieces and 5 silver for rooms and baths.
Sweet.
uh, we can, we can take this area up here too and be like Mavis and somebody here, people that aren't
Well, I think
sharing the bed or whatever.
technically I think you'll all fit in these rooms, won't you?
Yeah.
So of course Dentry's going to room here, which leaves Goodman and Borman here. Oh, I guess Mavis is odd man out. Well, that's okay. So
Uh,
for an
Borman will
additional,
take this to himself because he's going to go stealing, and then Goodman can be there. And
okay,
then Gentry is with Peppermint over here.
right.
And then yeah.
Looks good.
Okay,
There you go.
so you are looking at a total. Let me recalculate.
And we're paying for a week.
Okay,
So,
I will.
right, this will be
Yeah.
our spot for a week.
That would be nice to settle down
Yeah.
for a week, get our HP back and everything.
Yeah, maybe if we wanted to make a scroll or something like that in preparation, potion maker orders for back at the castle,
So,
be a good time to get that.
assuming that you pay for not only the rooms, but if you pay for baths every night for a week, you are looking at 63 gold.
Ooh,
Yeah,
it's a
worth it.
vacation.
It is.
Yeah.
After almost dying from the
Yeah.
frost giants,
Yeah.
I think we would want to settle down for a minute.
Right? Yeah. Get a nice,
and
comfortable spot.
If we just pay a solid 100, will they have a maid or somebody on hand to come, bring us crap that we want?
100%. So yeah, she
that's
tells
easy
you,
math on Brian.
yeah, if you want to deduct 100 and tip to Helgerd, her Yarngerd's oldest daughter, um, as the cook, you can have private meals in your rooms and pretty much have run of whatever you want cooked. She will cook it.
Hell yeah. Having
Nice.
somebody, Borman is thinking that having somebody say that, well, he was in his bedroom all night would be a great thing.
Right. Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah.
So yeah,
I'm stealing something in every town we go.
She sets you up with your rooms, gives you keys. Each of these doors can lock, which is somewhat unusual. Most inns, at least most of the inns you've been in, a lot of the doors don't lock. But yes, there is.
This door between, it looks like the room where Jackson is that like he has an on-connected door to Borman's room instead of an outside?
Correct. This is a private suite, so there is an attached. There's a private room and then an attached room with a single bed.
We can trade it out if you want to have your kitty in the bed and I take the single bed. That's fine. I don't care.
Oh, I just wanted to make sure that, like,
Yeah.
if I want to leave, I got to go through your room. Is all I'm saying.
Oh well, I sleep in a very, very luxurious loincloth. It's going to cover everything. There might be a little undersack, but just don't stare at it. It'll be okay.
Don't mind if my hawk decides it wants to peck at the berries.
Oh,
that's
no.
okay.
Yeah, I forgot you have the hawk now. I'm not going to make I mean, you're not planning on having the hawk attack things, are you? Because I was not going to make a token for the hawk.
Oh, no. The hawk is purely for storytelling purposes, like attacking his berries.
Okay.
And information.
And information.
Scouting and stuff. Yeah.
Exactly. Scouting, stuff like that. So, like, not at all ever needs a token. It's going to fly overhead someplace, and unless you decide to get it attacked from way up high, it's never going to do anything like that.
So, there are, in this tap room over here, there is various people that are hanging out. So these two rooms are actually occupied by other guests, and they look. You see some of them sitting in the tap room. Um, if you look at this tap room, and I doubt, like Cameron might have been in a McMenamins, but I kind of um, set this up like a McMenamins does. Like if you've ever been to Kennedy School McMenamins, there's one area that is set up very similar to this. Anyways, and so there are probably 4 other patrons in the tap room when you enter. They look like they're, they look like Vikings. There's not any these. They are all clearly from Stagina. They're not foreigners, but they look like they know things that are going on. For food, well, you've already paid. Yes. Basically, you tipped high enough that you have your pick of food, and she serves. Helgerd, of course, starts you guys off with a wood tray of fruit and nuts and cut up cheese, and there is roast fowl and joint, soup, stew, pretty much anything, ales, meads, and mostly meads. There is a lot of mead that is served in Stagina, and that is their staple. They do have some ales that have been imported from elsewhere, but their staple is mead, and you know,
I share some of my endless wine.
so Halgerd comes out and serves you, and she looks like she's upper teens, 18, 20 years old, and she says that she's very interested if you have any recipes, because she can tell that you guys are obviously well traveled. I'm assuming that you guys took a bath first before coming down for dinner, and she tells you it's still obvious that you're not from here. She tells you that if you have any recipes for cuisine that you would be willing to part with, she would be more than willing to purchase them at a. She doesn't have a lot of. She's wealthier now than she was that you've showed up than she was before you walked in the door, but she's willing to pay, upwards of 1 gold piece per recipe that you might have if you have any.
And this
Do
is
we
only
have
for
any?
food or including alcohol?
That's a very good question.
Because I don't know if we have any non-alcohol recipes. It doesn't
I mean,
seem like we do.
We
Our cook
haven't
lady.
really been,
Well,
chasing that rabbit hole.
Yeah, if you have recipes for alcohol, she would certainly pay for them and then give them to her brothers, Edgar, Gunny, and Vandal, who run the brewery and stables.
We could bring in our personal chef to hang out and swap recipes.
Oh, that's true.
The Kobold Chef.
Yes, you can
Yeah,
do that.
that's true.
Yeah, what was
It's your creation, Chris. We just
I
assimilated.
like the idea of having her just hang out for the week, and she can teach her some stuff for the week if she's willing to, and just give her some cooking lessons while she's here. I think that's fun.
Yeah, it sounds very.
Cultural
Sounds
exchange.
like, yeah. Yeah, that's spicing our palate for after we leave and spicing their palate because we were here. Everybody gets a little something in their mouth.
Right.
And perhaps a little good faith because she's getting taught, like, not just the recipe, but all the finer points of it. Might get us some good faith along the way.
Yeah.
Yes.
And why would the people who went out of their way to teach her how to cook steal from anybody?
Yeah, that's true.
True.
Well, what Borman's going to spend the week doing is trying to find the big score, and then do the score, and then we leave. So that's what he's going to be doing. Is in this stage is he would be hanging out and just trying to get a feel of who might have a lot of gems.
Right.
Yeah.
Around town, we'll have to look around town.
Yeah. These, I mean, this. Uh, I think the tavern right now falls under the "don't shit where you eat" doctrine.
Right.
All
Right.
right.
So yeah, you bring in the kobold cook, and at first, she Halgard is a little like taken aback because this is a fucking kobold, right? But
Yeah.
um, now it's gonna bother me until I
I assure you, we've left more tainted
Exactly.
guests. Yeah,
exactly. That's right.
yeah.
So she's a little taken aback that I mean this is a kobold, and she's like, what are you doing?" And but you're able to Zaxley isn't acting like your typical kobold. I mean, in some ways, in some ways there's some things that you can't change about a kobold, but um, you know. And it's funny because the kobold comes in and she's got an apron on and wearing a little chef's hat, and she's got mittens for little scaly clawed hands, and so Halgard, kind of warms to the idea, and Zaxley drags her back towards this rather large kitchen, and is ready to get started immediately. So you have made friends, and Yarngard uh, comes over and brings you another pitcher of mead and another bunch of platter of food. And Yarngard tells you that she apologizes that the inn is so quiet. She says that um, a lot of the foreigners or even the Stygian sailors, rather than staying in the inn, because of course the Bald Mastodon, I mean, as it can be a little bit expensive. She tells you that in a lot of cases, um, for for the partying that sailors like to do, is that they actually go to the Dangerous Shark Tavern down on the piers. And so, if you're looking for, information about the region or things like that, she can of course direct you to the Dangerous Shark, and that is where you may find various sailors and adventurers types that frequent that tavern. She also tells you that some of the sailors that maybe they're down and out on their money for whatever reason. They stay at the hostel. Get back to that. There is a hostel in the temple. The Temple of Var has a hostel on the second and third floor that that they offer. Basically, it's a huge common room that they offer for free for sailors to just throw out a bedroll. But I mean, there is the assumption that anybody that uses the hostel will make a tithe to the temple or try to assist the temple in some way, even if it's just cleaning up or assisting to serve gruel or stew that is available. Um, and so but they do offer it to anybody that is in need of a room.
Oh,
And
cool.
It was in that big walled area that we saw coming in. It was like a
yeah,
big building that was kind of walled off. Number
Area
5.
5.
yeah. So
Yeah.
Yeah, who lives in Area 5?
this is the Temple of
Norman will say
Var,
in character.
and
Yeah.
so this is Steinmod Keep, which is where Jarl Eskil Halfidisson lives and rules from. And that is, they have their own palisade wall. It is very well guarded. Um, but I mean, you would need to have an audience with the king or with the jarl, and um, she describes him. She says that he is A typical Stygian, he is about 7.5 feet tall, um, and uh, but he rules with a um, he rules with a steady demeanor. That he has focused the town on trade, and it has worked out quite well for everybody that lives here.
If
Cool.
if somebody were to open up a business here in town, would they have to pay a tax or a fee to the Jarl in order to operate here?
Generally, yes. I mean,
Okay.
there is generally a tax that is levied. Stygian is a little bit weird, so it's not like the Glaucian Empire or pretty much anywhere else. And this is in real world. It's a little weird the how the Vikings did things. So tax would be levied, um, for businesses or farms or what have you, and that goes to the Jarl of the town. Tax doesn't
Okay.
from the Jarl. I mean, the tax doesn't necessarily go to the. There isn't a tax that goes from the Jarl to the king per se, but if the king travels to a town, basically they can take anything that they want because. So in this case, Jarl Eskil doesn't pay a tax to King Kisping in Olafsfeller, but if King Kisping, for some reason, sails to Viacaslau, he wouldn't have to pay for a room at the inn, and of course he would pay for, or he would just sleep at a guest room in the keep. And if he needed money for whatever reason, it would be kind of a situation where Jarl Eskil would have to hop to and go produce a coffer full of coins. Um, that's just kind of how things work,
I
and
understand.
it this kind of system, for the most part, it does function. Um, but there have been cases where the system breaks down, and that's true of anything. But the system breaks down, and then there's one town fighting another town, and there's minor war, and usually that results in either the king or the jarl in question being replaced, and then kind of things go back to the norm. And that hasn't happened for some time, but yes, this is Steinwad Keep, and this is the Dangerous Shark Tavern right here on the piers. Uh, this, of course, is the piers themselves, and so the piers, the depending on the time of year, storms can rage over the Great Inland Sea, and of course, the Great Inland Sea sounds bigger than it really is, but it's really more like almost like a saltwater Great Lake than anything else that does open up into the sea. But the storms can whip up a frenzy, and some of the waves will crash over these buildings on the piers. And so, because of the frigid water and the cold air, the waves that splash up can sometimes freeze in midair. And so, you've got these brittle, salty icicles that can shatter like glass. And most of the buildings on the pier are built up on stilts so that the water washes underneath of them or freezes underneath of them. And so almost every one of these buildings you have to climb up a stairwell to get inside. But she tells you that in addition to the dangerous shark being out on the piers, there are also numerous markets. And so a lot of the goods that are brought in on ships just go directly to the markets. And she tells you, she says, Viacaslau is one of the places where you can find almost anything in the known world being sold. They're big imports of like Ereboschian tobacco or Orentian teas or silk, uh, fine linens, you name it. It's available on the docks.
And the Jarl is responsible for the safety of everybody in here, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
And because of the wealth of Viacaslau, because of the ports, Jarl Eskil has quite the militia army that he has built up. Viacaslau is actually a very well defended city.
Oh, cool.
Would Alora be willing to take an audience with this guy if it could be set up to
What do we?
offer? Well, I was thinking you could offer our services to extinguish threats to his city, because for to build up goodwill towards your empire that you're putting together, and to
So
build
like
goodwill.
diplomacy, basically. Sure, I can
Yeah,
ask for an audience for
yeah,
diplomacy. Sake.
yeah. We would like to, this. If he's got a dragon living around here and we go kill the dragon, then our
We could
diplomatic rating goes up with this town, versus, as an empire.
we could
And then
ask if they
maybe,
have
yeah,
any information about the artifact we're supposed to search for too.
yeah,
Because
that
I
would
don't.
be.
That is a good idea. So whoever wants to,
Oh, we only have one player that makes charisma rolls
I
if
was
we
going
have
to
a
say,
choice.
whoever wants to roll a d20 minus your charisma modifier.
He just
Plus
assumed
or
minus. He like, look, all you.
I'm
All you only
assuming
did.
I know that Alora has a positive to her charisma modifiers. That's why I said a minus, because you're trying to roll under your charisma. So subtract your
Yeah.
if you got a bonus,
So
subtract it from your roll.
okay. I got exactly my charisma. Is that
Okay, that works. So
okay?
Yarngard tells you there are a couple of things. So if she kind of initially the idea of getting she doesn't scoff at it, but she says that it won't be easy to get a meeting with the Jarl, but she can send one of her sons, and they can, of course, try to come up with um, a, a a a audience with the Jarl.
Oh,
They
just
can
know that.
drop the
Yeah.
bug in the right ear. Is
Yeah, we
essentially
just know that we are the same adventures that ended the hill giant's reign at Scordier.
well.
And
Well, you did that at Arlos, but
okay, yeah,
it
Sudar,
that
that's where.
yeah, you put down Sudor. That knowledge
Yeah.
may not have made its way to Viacaslau yet.
We can still make the claim.
Right, and you can make the claim. That
Yeah.
is true. So
And we also took out the sea creature that was at the shipwreck
at
just south
Jacolsa,
down the coastline there. Yeah,
yeah,
we also did that. So just so you know, we are adept at removing threat. We have a history.
Mhm.
let me change that. There. That way, we know what that is. So she does tell you. Um, well, she tells you. There isn't necessarily so much a threat. She tells you right here. there is a dungeon right there. And it is of some interest to, um, or would be of some interest to Jarl Eskil. So the tale that she tells you is that in ages past, um, Reykjadalr was known as a sacred place of worship by the Druids of the Old Faith.
Mm.
And it consists of a stone circle of menhirs, and there is a cave that the druids there are said that when they would go into the cave and they would enter the dreaming realm, and they were capable of great divination, and it would allow them to commune with nature through the dreaming realm. And it is closely the entire site is closely associated with the sea and the very steppes of western Stagina. Um, she says that the entrance to the dreaming realm is like as soon as you step in, she said it is said that you will immediately enter into a dreamlike state and start having visions. Not necessarily visions of the future, but visions more or less of a correct path or things to come, that kind of thing. Um, she says the problem is that down here, the town of Danil, or village of Danil, really, was raided by a white dragon named Isentanth, and the dragon has raided the area numerous times. It is a white dragon, and of considerable power, and it is said that that it has taken lair in Reykjadalr and has forced the druids out. So if that could be dealt with, or if you were offering that, that would be far to take care of Isentanth. That would be far more likely to get you an audience with the Jarl.
Sure. That sounds fun to me.
Yeah.
Does anybody need like to be healed while we're waiting to rest or anything? Because I mean, we'll
Yeah,
take care
definitely
of that
needs
over
some
the.
healing.
Okay.
Definitely needs some healing.
Yeah.
This was the town looking for assassins, right?
So yes, you had heard a rumor that the town was looking for. Let's see, what was that rumor exactly? It was.
We're gonna work this town for all its quest lines.
Yeah.
Like maybe we should go out at night and just roam the streets looking for people with an exclamation mark above their heads.
Yes. Yeah. Ignore the ones with the question mark. That means you haven't completed their question.
Yeah.
So Dentry had heard a rumor that the Jarl of Viacaslau was seeking skilled assassins for some unknown cause. Dentry, roll a d6. Jesus, that's a lot of healing. A 6. So she, Yarngard, kind of looks a bit perplexed by this, and she says, I've heard nothing of the Jarl seeking to hire assassins. I can't even imagine whatever for, but I'm not the ruler of the town. Perhaps there's something going on that I'm not aware of.
Well, we're not the traditional type of assassins.
So it looks like Dentry's down 26. But I mean, you can.
Oh,
I mean, not only. I mean, you can slap heels on everybody, but not only that, you can. You'll get a d6 back for
Let's see
healing.
how much I can get out. Okay, so that's 25.
Hell yeah.
Divvy up the yeah. If you want to nail him with 25, there you go. I don't know who is anybody else injured.
I have 2 cure serious wounds that I can do for somebody else.
Right.
And then there's a stick.
Yeah.
Jackson's down 8.
Okay.
I mean, Borman has 17 to 45, so
Oh,
he's
wow.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Borman got swatted.
Mhm.
Get
So,
my 8, give him that.
yeah, I'm going to give Borman both of the cure serious.
So
And then
that's 19, right?
that's 19. And then you guys can both roll a d6 plus 1 for the stick for today.
Yeah, touch the stick.
Yep. Cool.
Oh, there's another 6.
We'll probably all be healed up all the way tomorrow.
Yeah, and then
Yeah.
you can then roll another d6 for healing for your rest tonight.
Okay, cool. That should
Yeah.
probably.
Borman's at 44. Malachi is at his full, and Goodman is full. I'm full, except for Borman's down 1. He has a slight itch.
Walks with a slight limp.
Yeah.
Got a Hello
Okay.
Kitty Band-Aid on his right hand.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right.
It's a goth Hello Kitty because
Right.
he's all in black with his high heel boots.
So
I'm glad we got that out of the way.
So
Yeah.
waking up in the morning, you can see that Youngerd, sends one of her boys off to Steinmod Keep, and then it's just a matter of waiting to be called to Steinmod. Is there anything that you guys want to check out while you're here?
Well, if
We
we're
wanted
waiting,
I thought we wanted to hear some rumors at the shark bar.
At the Dangerous Shark? Okay.
Yeah.
and Malachi is going to stay back.
Okay.
Because I'm wanting him to try to make a scroll. If we got a week, I want to try to pump out a scroll if that's okay.
Sure.
All right.
What scroll are you wanting to crank out?
Man, I'd really like to do a haste.
Okay.
3rd level magic user.
So it's 3rd level, you said?
Yep.
Okay.
3rd level magic user. It's right there in the advanced fantasy players book.
It duplicates spell effects. So it'd be 500 per level, so 1,500 gold pieces that you would need to essentially all of that stuff. Individual components or reagents would be available here that you can purchase. So yeah, I mean, if you want to dump 1,500 gold into making a scroll,
it's something I can walk. Yeah, I've got a couple fireball scrolls in the thing. I'm just trying to get scrolls that can change the effect of a battle. So if I'm out of slots,
right,
or I have to move and cast, I can do stuff. I don't know if anybody else wants to do any of that or not, but Malachi's going to attempt this haste scroll.
Okay. Yeah, you can go ahead and subtract 1,500 gold, and that's what Malachi's doing.
You got that, Brian? 1,500 there.
Gotcha.
Thank you. And then I'm going to add a scroll of haste. and I'm just going to put an asterisk next to it until. All right.
Okay.
But Borman and Goodman would definitely be cool to go to the bar.
Okay. Okay. Hold on, I'm just setting up the tavern.
And that, my friends, is how I keep myself from having to do charisma checks with a fucking bullshit charisma. Yeah.
Sorry, just fucked that up. What's going on? Oh, because I'm on the wrong fucking layer. I do this all the time. Yeah, it's better. Let's see here. Malachi is not there.
I have the scribes kit.
Yep.
So
Yeah, that would be fairly needed to create a scroll. Need your ink.
well, I was just saying I shouldn't need a whole hell of a lot of resources if I got the, I
Well,
shouldn't have to go just the spell components, right? I'm not
yes
trying to
and
lower
no.
the price.
No, yeah, no.
I'm
I
just
mean,
saying
yeah, no.
I don't have to leave the room to pull this off. I just need the peace and quiet and time, right?
Well, you still need to go out and get reagents, but that's part of it. Part of the whole thing. So
It's already factored in.
yeah, it's already kind of factored in.
Cool.
So
I can send the little helper with a list to go buy the shit.
Oh yeah.
you could,
Order
Yeah,
them
so
around.
yeah,
yeah.
you could.
Maybe I can teach her magic missile, over the week while she assists me in scroll making.
Probably.
It would be total. It'd be total. A role play stuff. It'd be trading the assistance that she gives me for the time that I spend to teach her magic missile.
Probably you wouldn't teach her magic missile. You would probably teach her. Here I'll tell you. Probably a cantrip, 0 level spell.
Like light or something, right?
Yeah, probably like light or actually, if you wanted to teach her something, you probably wouldn't teach her a necromancer cantrip, but you might teach her. There are a couple here.
Is there something that does like perfume scents and stuff?
Oh yeah.
Well, here's one. A useful cantrip called Clean allows caster to remove soil, dirt, and similar foreign substances from 4 square yards of floors, walls, dishes, windows, and other surfaces.
I will
Yeah.
teach her this cantrip clean.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Her soul yearns for magic missile, though. I feel it.
Right.
I
She wants to
know.
do some damage.
If she would like to follow me on the road, I could teach her the way of the sagey mage.
So the Dangerous Shark Tavern.
Probably say it in a creepy way.
As you guys, as you guys make your way along the piers, you can see that there's this large hall built on stilts. Most of the buildings here are built on stilts, and you can hear, you can see sailors and crew moving, coming and going from the tavern. It is a timber and thatch construction, and it seems like the lower portions of this are all frozen over with this brittle glass-like ice that is very sharp and shatters easily. Um, as you move up to it, you can see that there is a simple sign that just has a carving of what looks like a shark and an arrow that just points up some stairs. And every time the door opens, you can hear the sounds of laughter and people talking coming from inside. And moving up, you can see that there is this enormous tap room um, on the ground floor. And then
Sweet.
there is a living space up above. It is not an inn. That is where the owners actually live. Is upstairs.
Wow. That sounds horrible.
Yeah, it's awful. Um,
Just living above a bunch of rowdy drinkers all the time. That's all.
yeah, a bunch of drunk Vikings downstairs. That nobody needs sleep, right? But as you go up the stairs, you come to these double wooden doors, and there is um, uh, carved across the double doors. It just says the dangerous shark, and you push in, and there is large amounts of firelight and a great warmth. The entire center of this tap room is a stone lined fire pit. And you can see that there are a number of people that are moving around. Um, and it says, I guess I would hope if I sitting in this corner, you see I'm going to have to pull out some pictures for this. I have to. I don't have a choice. This is a must have because these are very individual people. There he is. And so there are a lot of patrons in here. Um, in this corner here, you see this individual sitting there.
Hi, bro. He
Drinking
looks
a
very
What's up?
serious.
large tankard
Yeah.
of mead. And let's see. Oh, lots of people here. You see a girl that is moving around. Um, oh, my bad. This girl looks like she's probably, again, late teens, 17, 18 years old. And she is going around serving the guests in the inn, or tavern, rather. Got her hair in braids. She doesn't look overly thrilled. She looks overworked. Um,
Maybe she should take up music. A new form of employment.
sitting
There are
over
places with fine rugs.
sitting over here. There are places. Yes, there's always a rug to be had.
Mm.
It'll be like wallpaper in Castle Braun when it's all done. Just rugs from all over the
Yeah.
land, just be hanging there like tapestries. The cheap ones people will walk on, but the real good ones will just be everywhere.
Sitting over here, you see this woman, and she seems quite boisterous. She's got a pipe, and she's got a huge platter of food in front of her, and she seems like she's really enjoying herself.
Sweet.
Over here, over there, you see a gentleman wearing a turban. Clearly not from here either. Come on, there we go. Who looks like this? And he's kind of sitting over there by himself, evidently smoking a cigar.
Mm.
And down here, kind of working the fire pit. Where did she go? There she is. And okay. You see. Man, this place is packed.
Yeah.
So she's kind of cooking over the fire pit, and you can tell that she's kind of stout, and carries herself like she's probably seen some combat, and she looks like this. And she has that look on her face as she's looking over here, behind this bar. Uh, at this guy, who obviously, I mean, he's behind the bar, so he obviously runs the place. And he stands about 7 feet tall. He is clearly a Stygian gargantua. Um, there he is. And he too, I mean, all Stygian gargantuas look like they've seen some action, but I mean, like I said, he's 7 feet tall and looks like he is. Um, he's bold and in charge kind of guy. So this is the pandemonium that you walk into, and everybody nobody really pays attention that you walk in. They even seem to ignore that Mira is following you in. Nobody seems overly shocked by this.
Wow.
The first thing that Jackson does after noticing Uchida is he walks over to him and says, "Hello,
Okay.
my name is Inigo Montoya. You killed my father. Prepare to die."
So you're coming over here.
He noticed the 6 fingers on his hand.
Yes, the 6 fingers. So
I had to. I couldn't resist.
Yes, he does have a inordinate amount of fingers. Thank you, AI. So, he kind of looks up and at you, and the redheaded 17-year-old girl. She says, "Oh, uh, Captain Kozu doesn't usually um, he doesn't usually entertain guests. We reserve that table just for him." And the Uchida Kozu kind of holds up a hand and he says, "It's all right." Um, and he motions for you to sit down, and he motions for the girl to bring a tankard of mead. And so she goes over to the bar, and she quickly comes back with a tankard of mead, and he says, "Put on tab." And he says, "I am Uchida Kozu, captain of the trade ship Sokonobu. It is a pleasure to meet your acquaintance."
The pleasure is all mine.
He says, "What brings you to Viacaslau?"
We are merely travelers. What the hell are we traveling to? Besides looking for treasure right now.
You are looking for leads on where the Hammer of Janus might be, and everything that you've been told is the best place to find that would be in Olafsveller, the capital
That's
city
right.
of.
We spend so much time on like the side quests. I forgot. Like we have a main quest here.
I know, right? Real
We
no,
are
no
merely
shit,
traveling.
real life. That my wife and I haven't played Baldur's Gate 3 in so long that we're afraid to fire it up because we don't remember what the fuck we're supposed to be doing. Like,
Ooh.
and trying to work your way. I will say that's a great game, but they could have done a way better job on the journal. And so trying to pick out what it is, what thread are you actually on out of their journal, is sometimes kind of a pain in the ass. So we haven't played in probably 5 months, which I feel bad about because we're on the second act. But
I mean, the game had to have at least one or two flaws, right?
right? Yeah, yeah. It is a really, it is. I have to say, it is a fantastic game. But I'm not surprised because Wizards of the Coast didn't design the game. Larian Studios did. If Wizards of the Coast had designed the game, they had canceled it 3/4 of the way through because their digital department is a pile of shit. So, yeah, that's why you're here. You're basically journeying to Olafsveller, and he tells you, "Oh, are you going to Olafsveller for the festival of Asa?"
I am unfamiliar
I
with possibly, unless you know about it.
no, none of us have heard.
he kind of he kind of gets this he says, "Oh," and he kind of gets this look of disgust on his face, and he says, "It is these people have strange ways, and it is not for me to say, but it is the festival of Asa is not for the faint-hearted."
Really?
Yeah.
What do they do? You can't leave us hanging.
So he tells you, well, I need to describe it from his point of view. um, let's see. How can I put this? He says, it is a religious festival, but very barbaric. He says, sorry, I know it's in here. So he tells you, he says, it is a religious festival. It is, but he says they have very barbaric ways, much sacrifice.
Human sacrifice?
Yes.
Ooh, I do not like that.
Um, and he says, he says it is best to try to realize that they don't do this out of spite. It is to appease their gods.
Mm, man.
And
Oh.
Dala overhears, and she says, it's actually quite an honor to be sacrificed at the festival of Asa. The Stone Mother uh, gives us all protection. And she moves on to serving more drinks.
Ew. Okay.
uh, but he tells you, he says, um, uh, concerning the festival of Asa, he says it's not just the sacrifice, but the copious drinking that these people do, and other narcotics.
Oh man. It sounds like a real bad scene.
We might have to keep Borman away from it.
Maybe.
Yeah,
Just
he
sounds
could
to me
rub.
like people have been snowed in too long. You know?
Yeah, they've been snowed in so long, all they do is sit around, fuck, sacrifice people, and get high.
Yeah.
Not in that
I
order
mean,
necessarily. But he tells you that the Festival of Asa is this big thing that happens every year on the summer solstice, and people are starting to make their way to Olafsveller even now in preparation. It is a huge thing, and so the city of Olafsveller, normally would have maybe, it's a large city, so they have maybe a population of 20,000, say. During the festival, that population can just explode upwards of 70,000. The place is just packed, and he tells you that the main, they have from dawn to dusk every day for a week sacrifices, and whether that be people will sacrifice grain or produce to the gods, or sometimes livestock, and then on the more extreme end, they will sacrifice slaves. Sometimes they'll offer themselves for sacrifice. Everybody is drunk and high, 24 hours a day for 7 days out of the week. And there are fortunes being told by the druids, telling people, their future and what path to go down. And this all happens at what is called the Stump of Osala. And Osala used to be, or is believed to have been, the world tree. And its roots go all the way down into the underworld. And it is said that when Osala, which was a great stone oak tree, its branches went all the way up into the heavens and would touch the celestial palace on another plane. So you could climb the world tree of Osala and get up into the heavens. And um, when there was the collision called the reckoning of the planes, that Osala was severed. And so now all that's left is a stump and a series of smaller stumps all around it, which are those smaller stumps are all dedicated to the giant gods of the pantheon. And beneath the stump, the central stump of Osala, is a cave that has been turned into a temple, where they prep the slaves, or after something has been sacrificed, either a slave or livestock, they are tattooed with messages to the gods, and then later that night, the human slaves are burned on funeral pyres, but any livestock that was sacrificed is cooked, and they have from dusk until dawn, all night long, raging barbecues. So
well,
this,
I do love a good barbecue.
yeah, I mean, for most people, the Festival of Asa is considered kind of a religious vacation. It's not just a pilgrimage, but it is uh, it is essentially a vacation. It is a way for them to cut loose, and boy, do they cut loose.
See, it's just stress relief, guys. It's nothing nefarious. You
So,
know, a
Right.
little sacrifice, a little heavy drug use, you know, getting a little handy with your best friend. You know, it's all in good fun.
what is
You know,
Mavis and Alora doing? Or either or. Or
Just kind
Peppermint.
of trying to overhear stuff, I guess.
So coming over there, you meet Asgard.
Hmm.
that's
Uh,
the
That's
that's the chick
looks like fun.
smoking a pipe and eating a lot of food.
yes.
Yeah, she's got some stories, I bet.
Yeah,
She sees you come up. She is a Stygian, so she's probably about 6'8", wearing um, uh, she's not dressed more or less like most Stygians are. She it seems to be dressed far more flamboyantly, and she has a big pouch of coins that are just sitting on the table next to her, and she just is doling them out, like bring more food, bring more mead. And she sees you walk up, and she says, "Hello there. Oh, please come, sit, join me. I have more food than I know what to do with."
All right, Peppermint will tuck in like immediately.
Okay, so
and
Asgard.
use the same fork she's using. Just reach over and grab her own. You know,
Asgard Walthoffdottir is a pirate, raider, and explorer and merchant, and
Oh
all of
hell
those
yeah!
titles apply to her. She is actually from the capital city of Olafsvalr,
Mm.
and she boasts that at times she has been in the employ of King Kisping and previous kings and queens, and at other times they are at odds. Sometimes she's a thorn in their side. She is the captain of the ship Pembroke Castle, and she is well known and wanted for piracy in the Dragon Sea. She especially likes to do raids as far east and south as the city of London in the borderlands. So she is well traveled, and she is in a fairly good mood, and she evidently has come back recently from some endeavor that paid her a lot of money.
Has she heard of the Hammer of Janus?
Roll a d6.
Okay. One.
Wow, she has,
Holy
and
crap!
she tells you she tells she tells you that the stories that she has heard, that the Hammer of Janus, there is a burial site far to the north, up here. Mark this. That there's a burial site, that there is an actual dungeon that goes into the glacier, and that there is this vast temple there that some of the druids have been known to kind of go there as a rite of passage, but it is under the protection of the druids of Olafsvalr, and of it is under protection of King Kisping. And in order to travel there, you kind of need to get the permission of the king, kind of situation. And she says there is rumor that the archangel Damrazel actually is buried in the ice there, and that this
Oh,
is
wow.
a form of worship for some of the more mm, zealous druids. I guess is the best way to put it. They're a little. She says druids that spend too much time there can tend to be a little unpredictable.
Wow. That's all really good information. That's super.
Uh,
What was her boat's name again?
Pembroke Castle.
All right.
What is Borman or Goodman doing?
I think Goodman is gonna hang out here with Samuel and
You know, Cheetah.
Uchida. Yeah. Um. I think. I think Borman will go talk to Wada Al
Rabon-
Rabani.
Wada al Rabani. Okay, so
Yeah.
we're gonna be down here. So Wada al Rabani, you see that he is dressed kind of like very similar, I guess, in the way that, like, say, Malachi dresses. Not necessarily in the dark colors, but as far as clothing goes. And he's wearing this turban. And go ahead and roll 2d6.
Seven.
Okay, so he you kind of scoot up onto these bench tables that are up along the fire pit, and um, you strike up a conversation with him, and he is a wealth of stories, kind of like the stories almost sound like they are from, you know, Arabian Nights kind of things, like too fantastic to be true. But he tells you that
Mhm.
he was or is an illusionist from Arabashia, far to the south and east. He says, "You know where Arabashia is?"
No.
But he regularly travels to Viacaslau, and he has a merchant ship called the Hikmah to trade in
Hikmah.
spices, tobacco, and Arabashian delight. And he when Dala, the barmaid, comes by, he hands her a pouch and he says, "I brought you some delight." And she opens it, and there it's basically dried jellied fruit that is covered in sugar. And
It's like a Turkish delight.
yes, yes, and he tells you that
Yeah.
he has been.
You know, that's what made Edmund turn against his brothers and sisters.
Yes. You know what I don't understand? You see this all the time, especially on X. These people are like, "Oh my god, Turkish delight is fucking disgusting," and I'm like, "You've never had applets and cotlets? They're fucking delicious.
Yeah.
What kind of Turkish delight are you guys eating that you think is is terrible?" I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, no, it's fucking delicious. What are you talking about? But he tells you that he has frequented some the courts of some of the most powerful pashas in Arabashia, and he is known more for his infamous exploits, like the time that I snuck into the pasha's harem. Oh, good times were had that night, I tell you.
One
And
night we snuck into an abandoned mine and offed an eye tyrant.
but
Uh,
he that story of breaking into the harem of Pasha Bardur el Quadri, uh, was why he decided to travel abroad, because he didn't get away unscathed from that, and it was either to leave Arabashia or to lose his manhood.
Ah. So are you, do you do a lot of sneaking about then? And I'll shoot him a thief sign and see if he responds to the tip.
He does not. He doesn't catch anything.
I think that would be a subvert signal, but
Probably, yeah, but
yeah,
he's not grokking what you're putting down.
that's fine. That's fine. Got to check. We're talking about sneaking in places. So I will not bring up any of the vaults that I visited.
Yeah, he'll just steal your girl. That's all he'll take.
Yeah,
Right,
he's
yeah.
trying to fuck. Yeah. I will tell him that, eye tyrants have as many vaginas as they do eyes.
Oh boy, and they shoot beams.
Yeah, they do. Well, they siphon energies where the beams suit them out. As
Yes.
the vaginas will suck your power, and the eyes will shoot them out. And yeah, my friend has one of the eyes preserved, most magnificent. I mean, that's how you get along with shit talkers. Is you got to play the
You
you
make
got to talk
something else
shit.
yourself.
Yeah, like one of my friends fucked around and drank a potion and became a black dragon for a long period of time.
That
He
one's
started
true,
ordering
though.
shit out. Yeah, I'm telling him stories that we've done. We've done some cool shit, but I'm bragging about our exploits too.
He is highly impressed.
Yeah.
Highly impressed.
Cool.
So Dentry overhears kind of an argument between Goodney, who is Calf's wife, and she is kind of irritated because Goodney, or rather Calf, spends all of his time either. This is, of course, Calf. Spends all of his time either tending to the bar and bullshitting with the guests, or he spends all of his time, you know, uh, basically catering to their daughter, who,
The redhead that didn't want to be there.
yeah, he basically spends a lot of time catering to her. Um, she Dala, who is serving, that's their daughter. She's 17. She almost always seems irritated because she does have a younger sister, and the younger sister is named Odd. And Odd Odd is only about 13 years old, and she should be helping out around the bar. And instead, Odd is upstairs, probably reading sagas of grand exploits. And Goodney is complaining to Calf that he needs to get on her about doing her chores. And Dollops pipes up. She's like, "Yeah, her side of the bed is never made," and just they're bitching about poor Odd upstairs. Of course, if Odd was downstairs doing her fucking chores, she wouldn't be the butt of all the complaints. But it is what it is. And she she is also kind of complaining that where did she? Hold on, I'm looking. See. Oh, she's also saying that um, she Goodney's also complaining that Calf has spent too much money on the good stuff. We don't sell that much of it. Why do you keep buying bottles of it?
Ooh, good stuff.
Oh.
Well, Jackson cares about the good stuff. Dentry doesn't, but Dentry's like Dentry knows that Jackson does, so he's like, "Hey, Jackson, ask about the good stuff." Instead, Jackson Dentry's like, goes over by Peppermint and is like, hey, who's your friend? You gonna bring her back later? I mean, come on. Been a while since we've had some proper fun, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?
So
Know how kindly the pirate lady will take to that, but we'll see.
well,
Maybe she's cool.
I mean, it's a possibility. I mean,
Like, she is quite gorgeous and looks like someone who could actually keep up with us.
God, you guys are
Yeah,
gonna
she's pretty
trash that
cool.
room. Klingon lovemaking with two half
When a couple of half orcs try to pull you into a love triangle.
two half orcs and a half giant are going to town.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
There's going to be property damage.
Yes.
We tipped well.
So Dala overhears Dentry call this to Jackson, and she says, "Oh, my mother would be so happy if you bought a bottle. There are 100 gold pieces per bottle."
What is it?
It is. She says, "Well, I haven't tasted it, but my dad says that it is the highest quality mead that he's ever found."
Everyone in their mead. Okay, I'll try some. I'll buy a bottle.
Okay. So she runs over to her father over behind the bar, and he kind of is shocked to see that anybody be willing to do that. And he says, "I'll be right back." And you see him run up these stairs, and after a few moments, he comes back down, and he personally comes over to your table with this dark bottle, and it is corked. And he sets it down on the table, and he pulls out a corkscrew and pulls the cork out, and pours you a glass, and it is the smoothest, sweetest honey spiced wine that you've ever tasted. Quite potent as well, but it is masked by the sweetness and the spice, so that you only can tell how potent it is after you've swallowed. Like if you remember back from your high school, if you remember back from your high school and college days, did you ever taste really good jungle juice? The type that was made with the McDonald's orange drink, high C, what is it, lava?
Oh yes.
Yeah, that kind where you don't even know it's got liquor in it and a shit ton of liquor in it until after you swallow, and you're like, hey, there's something in here.
Yeah, like, oh, that this has something to it.
Yes. Yeah, one or two glasses
the
of
good
that.
jungle juice, not the like, oh God, what did you put in this?
Yes, right. Yes. No, this is the good shit. Yeah, that it's like that.
All right. Well, I hand him over a gem worth 100, and then I toss him a couple extra gold pieces as a thanks as well.
Okay. And he's like quite taken with that. Everybody can roll a wisdom ability check.
All right.
Holy shit!
Somebody got a 4 and somebody got a 5. That's
I never
Borman.
make these.
Borman got it. Goodman did not.
so Borman.
Somebody got a 1. Oh shit!
Yeah.
Who got the 1?
Peppermint.
So Peppermint automatically. So everybody who got it, you see that coming from downstairs, you can see that there is a 13-year-old girl. Looks very similar to her older sister. I mean, you can tell that they got their father's red hair, and you can see that she is kind of she is not necessarily sneaking, but she is making sure that her parents are involved, or her parents and her older sister are involved with everybody else at the bar. And she's making her way for the exit. And Peppermint can see that she has, what is this? It is, she's armed with a sword.
Ooh.
What does this look like? It is, and yeah, it's not even in a scabbard. It's just tucked into her belt, and it is dirty. The blade looks like it's pitted from from something. Maybe not rust, but the blade itself is pitted. There's nicks. Um, it's kind of a blackish gray color, kind of like maybe forged iron, but closer to like petrified bone in color. And she's got this kind of tucked into her waistband. And um, Peppermint also notices that she's saying she's there's nobody for her to talk to, but she seems to be whispering something under her breath as she's moving towards the
So, when I leveled up last time, one of the only things that went up was my pickpocket chance.
door. Okay.
So I want to try and get the knife off her. I think it's up to 55.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead and roll.
If Dentry was to distract her,
Oh.
would that
Damn
help
it.
the roll?
Nope, I fucked it up.
Possibly, but so
Not enough for 70 to do it.
Peppermint kind of heads over here and casually is sitting at this end of the bar and kind of tries to lift it. Okay, what does that say about that?
I totally had a plan as well, so this plays into my plan. If you want me to piggyback on it,
Well, I failed, so do whatever you want.
awesome.
Yeah.
Dentry comes over, being a weapons man himself, and an armorer and Boyer and Fletcher and everything, and just having
So
a love for weapons.
it's not more than twice what you needed. So yeah, you would have had to really fuck this up. But you you reach over to try to snake this sword out, and you just narrowly miss. And she turns and steps out the doors and off into the piers.
Oh, damn it,
Oh,
Dentry didn't get to do anything.
Well, what was Dentry wanting to do?
Dentry, I saw the sword too, right? Making with the 5.
I would think so. Yeah, that's a good enough roll that you probably notice that she's armed. You may not have noticed
Okay.
that she was whispering.
Okay. I don't care about the whispering anyway. I wouldn't have cared. I'm like more for the sword and being like of a half orc, I still value someone who's brave and warrior, and now my knighthood, I'm like, oh wow, young child with a weapon too. You must be ready for battle, but this sword, not. I kind of like look at the sword and just make a point of pulling it out and be like, this sword is not the weapon of a warrior. You need something better than this, young one. And I like go to reach into my I'm like, let's get you. Let's see what I have for you. And I want to see how she reacts to me, like pulling out the sword and eyeing it and shit.
So
I've actually got a sword that we can give her if you want me to let you. You would have an idea, being a man of arms, on kind of what we have in the bag of shit I got to deal with.
Oh, absolutely.
two things.
And I have I believe I have a short sword of quickness +1.
You get so two things happen simultaneously. She turns and looks at you, and her face contorts into the most angry, vicious face that you could ever imagine on a 13-year-old, like a feral child that has gone rabid. And she
Oh, wow.
looks at you and she goes, "Shut up, you idiot!" And at the same time, you are overcome with a feeling of not revulsion, but a feeling like you are touched by a feeling of wanting to leave her be.
Okay. So I don't get all the way through pulling the sword out and looking at it. I start to look at the sword, and everything inside me says, let's let this girl go.
Yes, yes. The roll another wisdom ability.
Yep. No, that's over.
Okay.
I
Peppermint.
was also wanting to do something by seeing her,
Okay.
but it was all I was wanting to do was kind of slip out. I was going to follow her.
Okay.
Like as soon as I get outside, go invisible, and just trail her with my silent thigh-high boots.
Borman and Peppermint can also make another wisdom ability check.
I did not make it.
Me neither. Fuck. We don't know what's up with her at all.
Okay.
Yeah.
Jackson made it the first time. Do you want Jackson to make it again? I mean, he's looking. He's not doing anything, but he is looking.
Sure.
Yo.
Oh yeah, I made it.
So Jackson, looking at this girl and seeing this interaction with Dentry, Jackson is suddenly overcome with like a craving for exploration and adventure, but not for the purposes of glory. Just to see what is out there and to experience adventure.
That fits for Jackson. That's how he ended up in the party.
That's true. That's true. I would also say though that and both the feelings that Dentry has gotten and that Jackson has gotten, it is aware that those feelings are not your own.
Oh.
She's got some kind of sanctuary spell on her.
Something's wrong.
But yeah.
Okay.
I'm
We should
still
just tell her parents. Didn't we just tell her parents?
You could. Or you could tell her older
Peppermint
sister and
will.
make her even more pissed off.
Peppermint's like, I know what she's up to. She's gonna go out and hoe it up. Not on my watch.
Hell yeah,
Don't
Peppermint.
tell her parents.
She's too young to hoe it up.
Yeah, gonna tell her parents, your daughter is out there trying to become a hoe. And I just think that's wrong.
She's got a shiv and everything.
Yeah.
I think she's too young for it. Not that it's wrong. She's just too young for it.
Yeah.
So Peppermint runs over and you tell her parents and Caliph goes, ah, that child. And Goodney goes, you see, that's what you get for coddling her and her reading those silly books. She's probably off trying to find more adventures to go on. And so Borman...
And Dentry and Jackson say, see, books are no good anyway. Who needs books? 'Cause, you know, Jackson can't read anyway.
So Borman, you wanted to follow her?
That's correct.
Okay. So Borman runs out the doors. Borman...
Will be invisible as soon
Okay.
as he gets out the door. He's just, well, in fact, technically, I mean, all he's got to do is kind of dip into his shadow, and you need to roll a 6 to notice him, and then he can turn invisible and just run. You know, by now he's so practiced on running on heels.
So you slip out of the dangerous shark, and you can see her walking along the piers, heading towards, like she's going to be heading towards the markets. And she turns around and looks directly at Borman. And she says, I don't need to be followed. And she turns around and ignores you and keeps walking. She can clearly see you.
What?
Wow.
He's powerful.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's basically, I've lost all my trump cards now, but
Let me take a look at something real quick about thieves.
She did too much book learning. Now she can see everything.
You're not 10th level or higher, and you're not a bard.
I mean, but I'm
I
like
will
a
allow-
double hidden motherfucker.
I will allow Borman to make a intelligence ability check.
Okay. I have an 11 intelligence
Oof.
and an 18 on the dice.
Yeah, you're like, whoa. So this 13-year-old girl can clearly see you, and you are baffled. You're like, what the fuck?
I'd be like, hey, you might not need to be followed, but perhaps you could need some help. I mean, you know, I am the world, you know, most fun adventure around.
She says, you're an adventurer?
Yes.
And you immediately get a feeling of this craving for adventure. And you're aware that it is not coming from within you. And she says,
We like,
she says, come with me. I'm going to the market. She goes, I found a prize at the market. So I'm wondering if maybe there's something else. And she
are,
draws,
are, are, are
she,
you going to steal it?
she says, oh no. I,
Borrow?
I'll see I'll see about buying it. She goes, whatever it is that I find, but she says I found this last time, and she says, hold on here. She pulls out this sword, and it looks like shit. This sword, like I said, the blade's pitted, nicked. She says, I found this sword, and I was immediately drawn to it. And at first, the merchant wasn't going to sell it to me, and then all of a sudden he had a change of heart, and he sold it to me for half price. I only paid 1 gold piece for this.
Ooh.
Wow. Man, I have no comms. Uh, 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 I'm gonna go with her.
Okay.
I'll stay invisible. Just because she can see me doesn't mean anything else. I'll learn more about this girl. Maybe she wants to go with us to retrieve the hammer of Janeth. That'd be a big adventure.
So
Uh,
as
how does
you
she feel about fighting a white dragon?
she says, and she immediately knows. She goes, "You must be talking about Isn't."
Yeah, you've
She says, "Oh,
or
I've read so many adventures about or sagas about Isentanth and how this terrible white dragon was raising villages and heroes rose up to chase her off. But none,
well,
but she's very powerful. None have ever been able to succeed."
wow. I mean, you could observe us and record our story. Maybe you'd have to tap down your projecting your emotions like this.
She says, she says, I'm sorry. She says it's not me. She says, and she kind of pats the sword, and she says, it's Nightcrackle.
Oh, you have a named weapon. I too have things that speak to me in the depths of my mind.
So she tells you she's been reading the sagas, and she says I believe that this is Nightcrackle. She says that the sagas tell me that it was a sword that was lost to time, and uh, it was created by some ancient past civilization for who knows what. But she says that from what I've read, there was a party of adventurers that went down into the mythic underworld about 200 years ago, and one of them found Nightcrackle and brought it back to the surface. Like I said, it is a dirty blade, pitted. Um, the pitting, now that you're able to see it closer, it doesn't look like it's pitted from rust. It looks like it may be pitted from like drops of acid. Um, and you immediately get a wave of empathy that the sword doesn't want to be held by you. It is very attached to her for some reason.
Well, I'm gonna ask my armor. If in its depth wisdom of magic crap floating around that talks to its user. I mean, is this crackle, this night crackle? I mean,
Let me
have some validity to it. What do you know about that?
let me see. Let's see. Uh, so the armor of the Raven also communicates empathetically. So you are awash in a feeling of um positivity, excitement, and kind of a uh, kind of like when you meet a new friend for the first time and realize that you have similar interests.
Interesting. I will definitely go with her, and I'll stick up for her. I'm going to see if I can get her to come with us. Uh, as an advisory role, I don't really want to put a 13-year-old girl on the front row. She can't be, formal. Oh, you
Yeah,
wonderful little creature. You can't be above level 2 yet, though.
she's not even leveled. She is a normal
Yeah.
human with 2 hit points. Um,
Oof.
that is packing around this named intelligence sword.
Is it cursed?
You wouldn't know.
We're going to have to do some research. But right now, I'm going to stick up for this little girl with the magic sword that's real inquisitive and has read all the lore on all the shit in this area. I mean,
Okay.
that's,
Yeah, that might be helpful.
yeah.
Right, though.
So
Go-
as you kind of wander, she wanders around the market with you, and you guys are. She's having you tell stories of your exploits. She, wants to hear everything, but she also tells you a bit about the region. She keeps her head buried in books almost constantly, and so the first thing that she tells you. Uh,
In Castle Braun, we have one of the most extensive libraries in this whole empire. That's
she
not a lie.
she would be
We've influenced.
exceedingly interested in that, but she tells you some stories about the region, and one of them is right here.
Can you point that again? I was looking down.
Yeah, just a second.
I've practiced many years on how to be difficult.
It is down
Okay.
here.
Oh,
She tells you that
Sorry, that was by accident.
there is a dungeon. On here, let me find it.
Jalome, whatever.
Jotheim, and she tells you
Yeah,
that
John.
legends state that Jotheim was the town of the gods. That the gods actually lived in Jotheim, and that when the planes collided during the reckoning, that Jotheim was pulled down into the earth, and that it exists there today. She says there were some adventurers recently that came to the tavern that were heading for the twins towns of Miroslava and Obernmosen, heading for Jotheim, and nobody's heard from them since. But tales say that you'll know that you're there because you'll see the tops of a tower that are sticking up out of the ground, and that's how you get in. She says, I would love to go to Jotheim someday.
Huh.
Another
Okay.
another tale. She tells you of right here. And it is, look at that map again.
Uh,
It
I mean,
is right
how
here.
successful do you think we would be keeping a girl with 2 hit points alive? That's the.
Not very.
Yeah, and her parents
I
might
mean,
have something
well,
to say about that.
They do okay. But she'd
I mean,
have to run away and lie to her parents and stuff. And it seems like she goes home at night. So I don't know.
well, we have the ability to send her home at night. Uh, you know, pretty regularly.
So she tells you that
If she sucked from our experience pool just one adventure, she would no longer have 2 hit points, whatever class she ended up being.
she tells you a story of a dungeon near to Olafsveller that is said to be taken over by trolls, and it is located here.
We've fought trolls before.
Oh, she says not like this one. It is said that this is not only are there ice trolls there, but there is a witch, a troll witch, named Ugaki.
You know, not all witches are bad witches.
She says, "Oh, I know that. I've read the sagas. We have witches
Yeah.
in Stagina as well."
The secret is to look at the socks in their shoes.
She tells you that I gotta find this one. Let's see. That is right here.
So there's all kinds of places we need to go poking about.
Yeah,
I
apparently.
feel like she's just gonna be our quest giver. We'll just keep coming back to her to tell her the stories after we do stuff.
Right?
Well, that could
Yeah, that
happen.
could work.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, but she wants to see these places and breathe the air and touch the blood and, you know, draw pictures in the feces.
We can bring her through the mirror after we make it safe.
Yeah. So she can see special shit, you know?
You just need to steal her sword. And then she'll calm the fuck down and go do her chores.
Go
So,
do your
that's
chores.
what I-
bro.
Yeah. She'll be like, what was I thinking? I could have died and whatever. Yeah, because it's the sword,
mean-
isn't it?
A removed curse ought to do that, you know?
She tells you that there is just south of the town of Skodir, and in between, well, north of Kivia, there is another dungeon called Borvarsdaler, and it is thought to be the tomb of the ancient stone giants. But even the stone giants have lost contact with where this location is, and that the stone giants are keepers of knowledge. And if they would greatly reward whoever found this dungeon, if they were told of its location, they could reward people with lost secrets and information.
Where do the stone giants?
The stone giants. That I knew you were going to ask that.
My goodness, there's so many things to check out now.
They
Wow.
are.
Right? We are seriously going to be on some adventures.
Well, a lot of these do sound interesting, you know? I mean, that white dragon, I think we need to send word back to Castle Braun and tell them that we need some kind of protection for frost
So,
or cold
the
or white
stone
dragon breath.
giants. The stone giants have their stronghold of Krovag, way up in the northern reaches of the Ellis Mountain.
Oh, okay.
But if you were to find, if you were to go into Borvarsdaler and travel to Krovag and tell them of where its location is and what you found there, they are said to. It is said that they would be forever grateful and greatly reward whoever found that dungeon.
Okay.
And so I think that's that.
Kind of like how the other people were grateful when we found their dungeon or their keep or whatever.
Yeah, more or
Yeah.
less. She also tells you that Skodir, she says, is a town of high adventure. They are constantly under assault from the fire giants of the stronghold Enar, and the fire giants constantly try to make attacks on Skodir, but the fire giants as a whole are rarely very successful because the town of Skodir is well defended, and because the fire giant forces, she says, I've read adventures of the dwarves of the Skellis Mountains, and that they have split the fire giant forces, and so because they can't attack with their full force, the heroes of Skodir hold them off. And she tells you that Skodir, the Jarl of Skodir, has requested assistance from King Kisping of Olafsfeller, but so far no word has come to assist them.
Man, Borman really likes the idea of fighting fire giants because he's got a sword that'll give him +3 on them. And that sounds pretty cool.
And
His
she
sword turns to a +3 sword against the fire giants.
tells you, she says that somebody told a story about Kavia. Hold on here. She says it was a very.
Oh, there's Kavia.
She says Kavia. She says it was a very sad story. She says that the find it.
Kavia's not far from Zlatoheim either.
No, in fact, it's the first town that you would come to coming out of the Skellis Mountains from Zlatheim. It is a frequent stop for people that are traveling out. But she tells you, she says that evidently the story that she heard was that the Jarl's daughter, the Jarl of Kavia, Jarl Vigir Nupason, his daughter fell in love and wanted to marry
That was a bad idea.
a very it's always a terrible idea. That there was a boy named Atli that she fell in love with who grew up in Kavia, and they kind of grew up together, and one thing led to another, and they were going to pair up, and Atli was a well-liked young man, and they were both fairly young, but as the pair started to become or gain puberty and were getting into their teen years, and everybody was playing, okay, well, they're going to get married and blah, blah, blah. Two things happened. The first thing that happened was he knocked up the daughter. The daughter's name's Signy. And, you know, that's not as bad as you might think. It just kind of put things into a little faster gear. Let's go ahead and marry these kids off, and they can go do their own thing. But the part that was not good is that she says evidently Atli wasn't really a human, is that he started to exhibit signs that he was, and she kind of looks around, she says, he was a tiefling. And he got like, you know, he grew goat feet and wings and horns, and the father, Jarl Vigir, immediately wasn't going to have that shenanigans in his family bloodline, and so he banished. He didn't kill Atli. He instead banished the kid, and from the town of Kavia, and basically kicked him out with nothing but the clothes on his back, and figured, you know, I'll let the icy plains of Stagina do my dirty work for me. And he figured he's not going to survive, right? And then turned around, and after Signy gave birth, her mother took the baby and drowned it. And the farms around Kavia, the farmsteads, they felt bad. The farmers felt bad for Atli. And so they were kind of feeding him and taking care of him and moving him from farmstead to farmstead to make sure that the Jarl's forces never ran into him. And word got back to Atli of what had happened to the baby. And Atli lost his shit and has created a rather sizable force of bandits, brigands. She says that there's talk that there's a couple of minotaurs and maybe some half giant brothers, or I'm sorry, frost giant brothers that have joined, and he has a war band, and the farmers are, a lot of the farmers are kind of giving him aid under the table kind of situation, and then telling the Jarl's forces that they don't know anything about where Atli's at, and in some cases the farmers will even burn some of their own fields in order to make sure that Atli's forces aren't taken. But it looks like Atli's huge goal is to lay siege to Kavia and kill the Jarl and his wife and take Signy and leave with her.
Wow.
So she says it's a very sad story.
Quite.
So that's what you learn about what's going on in Stagina. You got a whole bunch of shit that that is possible.
And we learned it from a little girl at that.
Yes, because all she does is has her head in the books.
See? Reading. It's good for you.
Yes, I learned all of this at my local library. Back to
And that's how the libraries got banned.
right. Yes, and this is why they burn books. All right, give me just a second. I'll be right back.
I mean, I like the idea of going and fighting the white dragon next.
Me too. I think we could take
I'm
it,
always up for
right?
killing a dragon.
Yeah. Maybe
I
we
think we
could
need
see
to-
if. Go ahead.
I think the Jarl needs to actually give us that quest though, because that hasn't happened yet.
No, we need to go talk to him because I definitely want to go into his big gushy place and have a look around so I can open a portal there later before I rob him blind.
Right, you have to have been there before you can rob them.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, I'm like a vampire, except for I don't kill you, I just take all your shit. Like the undead Santa. You know?
There you go.
Yeah. Santa from the upside down world. I don't come through your chimney. I come through a portal and I just take everything. And then I make fake magic signals because I don't know shit. And you know,
It's just
At
confusing.
least we
for
know that
them.
taking all the gold here won't destabilize the whole region because it's just his gold.
hey, that's a way to have a positive outlook on it.
We don't want to destabilize the entire region. Was our flirting
No.
any? When Chris comes back, I want to know if my flirting was of any use.
Yeah.
Oh,
Does the
that
pirate
lady
lady want to?
seems like she's more interested in eating, but
I want to rob her boat too.
goodness.
So
We're
I
trying to
mean, you
woo
know,
her.
yeah.
I'm trying. When I say we, I mean me. But we are trying to woo her.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, maybe I can get this little girl to go record it for you guys. You know, she'll have to watch and then draw pictures. But
That was not. No. What? No. No. No.
she's looking for adventure, man.
Not trauma. You'll be traumatized
Yeah,
watching that happening.
I feel that. I think staying in a town for a week and fucking around or all that though really keeps us from going murder hobo about it. You know?
I would
'Cause-
argue no, only because we are now about to get a whole bunch of murder hobo quests.
Yeah.
All right. So after a while, Borman, who is still invisible, you can hear Calf come into the market and finally see uh, Odd, and he yells, "Odd, you get your butt back here!" And she says, "Don't let my dad see you." And she runs off. "Sorry, I was just looking for more books." Says, "Your mother is very upset," and he takes her back to the Bald Mastodon.
Did she tell me what she was looking for?
She wasn't looking for anything in particular. In fact, when she found Nightcrackle, she wasn't really looking for a sword, but she thought that it looked really cool. You know, she's 13; she doesn't know what a good blade looks like, and so she was very excited to get it for such a decent price.
All right.
So, so you kind of follow them back, and you're back in the inn, still invisible.
Yeah.
What are you guys doing?
I'm still trying to seduce the pirate lady.
Okay. um. Shit.
I'm gonna.
Uh,
I'm
Didn't
gonna
expect
try.
that, did you?
I'm gonna go upstairs to the little girl's room with her so I can open portals there and all that, and maybe strike a deal that like, hey, at a certain time I might open a portal there and you can come through there, when I'm able, and you can witness some of these great places that I go adventuring to and see some of the wonder sights after we make sure it's safe. If you really want to take up this line of work and everything, you can get a peek into what you're really wanting to do.
Okay.
But don't tell your parent.
So,
And then we can watch Brian role play fucking a pirate.
No role playing. We're just gonna say it happened or didn't happen.
Oh. I thought you were going to
Nobody
go all
wants
chef
that.
on us.
yeah,
I want to make
nobody
sweet
needs
love to you, woman. Get some half-fork love, baby.
that.
we're just
Wanna
gonna
make
break all the
love
furniture
to
and
you.
shit.
It'll cost you about $350. So this is the upstairs area. There's like a nice little living area here, and you see that there's bookshelves with a number of these books, and there's some on the floor that are still open. And this is Odd and Dalla's room. And as Dalla described, when she was complaining about Odd, you can tell which side of the bed is which. And so Dalla's side of the bed is neatly made. On Odd's side of the bed, the mattress is kind of pulled up, and the sheets are just a complete mess. And so the pair of them are complete opposites of one another, and Dalla has gotten the habit of being able to smooth out her side of the bed, but leaves Odd's, hoping that her parents will do something about this, by leaving this as an obvious sign of Odd's messiness. And evidently, it has not worked. But you sneak your way up here, and you see that Odd is slipping the sword under the mattress on her side of the bed and kind of pushing down on the. It's just a basically a big burlap sack filled with hay and feathers, but she's slipping it under the mattress and kind of hiding it.
I'll tell her that every is there a certain time that's better for her, where maybe her sister will be asleep?
She says she usually waits. She usually pretends to stay asleep until after her sister's gone and down into the tap room to begin her work for the day.
Okay, so roughly 10 p.m. on any day that I can use her or show her things, I'll open a portal right here in the corner of her room, and all she has to do, and I'll show her my whistle, and I'll say, all you have to do is listen for me to blow this whistle, and you'll know that you can come on. And I can open the portal to get you back here.
So when you first make your presence known to her, because she puts the sword, you see her put the sword under the mattress and cover it up.
Uh-huh.
And you ask her, what's a good time of day. She seems startled at first, and she tells you that she says, I can only see you if I'm holding the sword.
Oh.
She says, so sorry, you startled me.
Oh, I'm sorry. I don't want to startle you or nothing, I just, you study a lot and you seem to want to see things. And so I'm thinking, maybe we could do something that would help each other. You could tell me about the lore and information about things in the area that you've read about, and I will give you the opportunity to see things that you wouldn't normally see, so you could explore a little bit in a safe way.
She
So
is
even if you do kind of
exceptionally.
get caught, yeah,
Yeah,
even if
she
you
is.
do kind of get caught, at least we can say we tried to keep you safe to your grumpy dad.
She is exceptionally excited with that, and she says, "Well, and even if you just need help, I can come and adventure too. I've been practicing with my sword."
Right? Is that what you want to do? Is learn how to fight with a sword? If that's the case,
Learn how
maybe
to
you ought to
kill.
get. Yeah.
Yeah,
Uh, well,
she
I'm not
wants
going
to
to judge
become.
people wanting to stab stuff with swords.
I
That's
mean, there's some days where I want to stab stuff with swords.
that's a that's a
Perfectly natural.
yeah, that's a perfectly okay trait in me. I'm not saying a girl can't be a warrior.
Yeah,
Just
she wants to grow
yeah.
up to be a great adventurer and have stories written about her and her exploits and um yes.
Oh. All right, cool. And then I will sneak on. I'm not going to rob her parents
Okay.
or anything. You know, uh, here's what I'm going to propose to the party is, you know, one of these times, maybe tomorrow night we don't come here, and and uh, and while I think it's okay, we'll open a portal for her to step through, and Mavis will cast a remove curse. We take the sword, and at least she's broken from the curse. And
You're assuming that
we
there's a
don't want.
you're assuming that there's a curse.
Right. I
I
like the
am
sword
assuming.
might just be like, "Yo, you cool."
Well, Mavis has that ability to. Who's got the thing that tells you if you're about to do something bad?
Mavis has it. I have to contemplate the action and it'll tell me if it would change my alignment.
Oh, okay.
So,
Is
so
there
I mean,
Huh.
I mean, here's
if
a
it's
good question. Is there I thought there was a way like a detect curse. Let me look. There's detect danger.
Well, I mean,
Maybe
we can. We
Well, I
can
mean, if you
magic.
try to remove a curse and nothing happens, then you know that there was no curse or that you failed.
true. Yeah, yeah.
I mean, we can hit her with a sleep spell, and then try to remove the curse.
I mean, there is detect magic, but I mean, everything that she's told Borman so far, I mean, you obviously know there's something going on with this sword. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah,
I mean,
something.
I don't know if the sword is good enough uh, for that to be the back.
clerics can cast detect evil. Um,
Yeah.
That's true.
I don't. Yeah, that's weird. I can't. I thought there. I know that there is a spell that will tell you if there is a curse. Maybe it is detect magic. It says no. It is not. Huh. Interesting. Yeah, I could have swore there. Maybe it's a witch thing. Anyways, um, yeah, I mean, that's something to look into. Maybe trying to detect whether or not there is some kind of curse going on here, or what have you.
Yeah.
Peppermint and Dentry can make a charisma ability check. But I'm going to give
Yeah.
you a -4 to those rolls.
Oh shit. She's down.
Yeah. She wants to get some of that half work love.
Damn it. Why I always gotta roll bad?
Well,
Every
give
fun role playing
Peppermint.
thing, I roll bad.
You gotta give Peppermint a chance. Maybe she can really,
Save the
make a
day,
difference. Yeah.
save the night.
Show a little cleavage and shaky.
Okay, wait, what am I rolling now?
You want to roll a charisma ability check -4.
Oh, fuck. Okay.
You can do it.
Um,
This is for half work love.
I probably
Oh
can't.
Jesus!
Oh,
Oh,
Oh man!
fuck.
damn.
Yeah, you
Nope.
turned her off.
There will
She's
be
like,
no
you have.
love.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so Asgard is. I mean, she thinks you're both great individuals. Probably the two finest specimens of half orcs she's ever met, but she's not really into the orky love. But she does offer you any time in the future, if you would like to work as mates on her ship, the Pembroke Castle. She would certainly hire you, or perhaps you just need a ship to ferry you someplace. And if she's in port, she would certainly be willing to help you.
I just say,
Okay.
just don't rule out the idea. Maybe you're not feeling it tonight, but another time. And I
How
accept her
does
offer.
how does how does she feel about hunting giant sea creatures on the open seas?
She says, "Oh, you must be speaking of juryware. Oh, that's just a myth. There's no such thing."
So, if someone were to hire your services because there's no such thing, you would be happy to.
She says possibly, yes. She goes, but I mean, uh, I mean, she says it's just a campfire story. She says I've never once met anybody. She deals with sailors all the time. She says I've never once
Mm,
met anybody who had a sighting of actual jury work.
Mm.
yeah, yeah. We once had
Then
this.
you get a little pleasure cruise out of it. We'll pay you all for
Yeah.
a pleasure cruise then.
She goes, yeah. She says, I will be sailing towards Olafsveller, in the coming weeks. She says I'll be heading for, of course, for the Festival of Asa, because um, during the Festival of Asa, all King Kisping also announces whatever raids are going to be done for the year, and so any adventure-seeking Stygian will head for Olafsveller, wanting to get in on the raids. I mean, that's where we make most of our money. They basically do
And
raids up
we
and down
like
the
money.
coast. Yeah, they rob people of their gold, and then come
Oh,
back and um
I just think it's so sad a culture based on theft. It's
yes, it's awful. It's terrible.
can't believe that. Yeah. Another thing I want to do before we get too far into this first week is our Castle Braun has an alchemist,
It does.
and we need potions to protect us from white dragon's breath or cold based attacks.
Okay.
Thank you for reminding me about potions. I had a question about that too.
Okay.
Yeah, because you've had one brewing for a minute, right?
I did get the fire breath potion made, but I also remembered that I have 3 little satchels of where is it? Of fairy hallucinogenic mushrooms, and I wanted to know if those is it just like a blow them onto somebody, or can I turn it into like a tip, something I put on an arrow tip or something that can like make somebody start hallucinating, or can I weaponize it
Uh
in some way? I guess is the question.
so hold on here. So what kind of mushrooms do you have?
It says 3 sacks of hallucinogenic fairy mushrooms
Mhm.
or fairy hallucinogenic mushrooms.
Yeah. That sounds like
And I've had this for a while.
Bumble Snort.
Yeah, that stuff.
Yeah. So there is a huge black market for Bumble Snort. So the first use is that it is a powerful hallucinogen that usually is snorted, although it can also be smoked or eaten. A common way of doing it in Stagina is that they will sprinkle it in mead and then drink it and then trip balls
Oh
for
hell yeah.
1d6 plus 6 turns. Um, And during this time that you're high on Bumble Snort, you also gain half your normal amount of hit points as temporary hit points, which leads to heroic idiocy because people think they're invulnerable. And it is highly addictive when used in that form. The other use is that it can be dried and crushed and made into a potion of ESP. Allows you to read the thoughts of others.
Yo, anybody want some potion of ESP?
I think we already have one, at least, but we could always use more.
We have
Anybody
a
want to
hat.
trip balls? Oh yeah, we have the hat.
Yeah, but ooh,
Yeah,
I
but
think,
not everybody has the hat. So, I mean,
right? Yeah, I mean, you could if you have the potions made and you sell them, that's income, I guess.
Well, it's
If
whether
they're
the potion. I mean, it might be worth more in its raw form because then people might want it more for the high than for the potion.
yeah, if there's addicts here, this is the place to try to ditch it.
Oh, hey, you know where the place to try and ditch it is that fucked up
Festival.
festival where everyone
Yes,
gets high.
the Sextival.
Yeah,
that's true.
yeah,
That's
for
true.
when we go to the festival here in a few weeks, I guess.
Okay.
Okay, I'll save it for the Sextival.
The Sextival, yes. Okay, we're going to break here for the week, but I've got some XP to hand out.
Did our potion maker have potions for control white dragon, blah blah blah? I mean, there's all kinds of.
Yeah. Roll a d6. Holy shit, they do. To the tune of 1. They have 1 potion. It's not of control white dragon. It is a potion of. Potion. It's a potion of cold resistance.
That's a good thing.
Unharmed by non-magical cold. Gain a +2 bonus to saving throws versus magical cold or breath attacks.
Ooh.
If you are reduced to 1 point of damage, or no, I'm sorry. Cold-based damage is reduced to 1 point of damage per dice rolled. So if it's 46, it would only be able to do 4 points.
Hell yeah. Hooray, potions.
How much is it?
They would sell it to you for 540 gold pieces.
Do you guys want to buy it?
I mean, it sounds pretty useful if it's like going to help us fight the dragon, and 500's not that much.
Borman says yes.
Okay,
All right,
I
cool.
wrote the potion down, so we own
And I
it.
will take 500 gold off.
All right.
Okay.
All right. So, everybody gets 2,500 XP.
Hell yeah.
Excellent.
1,000.
All right. Thank you so much. I had a really good time.
You're very welcome. This was a role-play heavy session. You guys got a lot
Absolutely.
of information, and you know where those extra levels are going to be coming from. You got a line on a whole bunch of shit here. And you got plenty of time to do
Thank
it.
you, sir.
So,
yeah. Appreciate you very much.
you are welcome. I hope you guys have a good one, and I will catch you next week at 12 o'clock.
Yeah, thanks. Have a great night. I got a phone call that was important, so I had to mute and shit.
No worries, no worries.
Yeah. So we got 2,500 EXP.
Yes.
Cool.
Yes.
Hell yeah.
All right.
Well, thanks. I'll see you next week.
All right. Have a good one, guys.
You too.
Appreciate you.
Bye.